You'll want to find another place to rest your feet, stranger. These stitches are about to burst. It won't be much longer before the whole place unravels, as it were. There's a new Khajiit in charge, Kazda, and he enjoys throwing his weight around. Between this one and you, most in the stitches find Kazda's leadership lacking, but none will stand up to him, though this one heard rumors Tasnasi is back. No friend of Kazda's, this one can tell you. She's recruiting for a job, or so the rumors say. This one doubts she'll have much luck convincing someone local to make an enemy of Kazda, but someone passing through. Last I heard, Tasnasi was camped on the north rim of the scar, but this one doubts she'll stick around for long. The moment Kazda catches wind of her, he'll have her throat slit. It's the closest thing to a settlement out here. Imagine a river hold on the edge of a cliff, painted with rum and horse dung. Then invite every outlaw, bandit, and exile to live there. That's the stitches. You didn't hear this from me, but he's a thug who thinks he's a king. Sits in Merville Keep, counting coin and letting his thugs run the stitches into the ground. Well, deeper into the ground. A thief who got run out of town not long after Kazda took over. He's the only one worth robbing in the stitches, so my gold's on her job involving his ill-gotten gains. Gutsy to cross Kazda, but he already wants her dead. What she got to lose?
Tasnasi does not know you. That's good. She knows everyone in the stitches. Those who aren't in Kazda's pocket, she can count on one paw. This one has a job for someone who'd rather pick it. An unknown face like yours is just what she needs. Kazda, the dung-eater that runs the stitches, has a hoard of gold beneath Merville Keep. Tasnasi plans to make it hers. Ours. If you're interested, we need to move soon. The stitches gets worse by the day. Kazda may leave, and his coin with him. To take from Kazda is no crime. His predecessor, Dashing the Salzo, amassed the coin. Kazda only wallows in it, like a pig in its filth. A cruel, stupid pig. Now he lets the stitches shuffle to ruin. This is his just punishment. We also need Tasnasi's old crew, Vol, Sarin, and Nazdar. Vol just did a job for Jubani. He'll be at her junk shop. Sarin's likely at the Goiter's Gulp, and Nazdar caterwauling somewhere. We'll meet in the bowl at the bottom of the scar. Who do you want to know about? Best damn mechanist this side of Nibbin Bay. Not a common trait for a wood elf, this one knows, but it is true. Kazda's stronghold uses strange mechanisms to keep uninvited visitors out. Voles are passed through them. Maybe not the most distinguished mage in Elsweyr, but the best Tasnasi is likely to get in the stitches. She spends more time with her head in a bottle than a book. But once she's dried out, she'll be invaluable for reaching the vaults unnoticed. The old adept was something back in his day. Tasnasi heard he could break a boulder with his little claw. He doesn't fight much anymore, but he still has some moves. This one has seen them personally. He flows like water and is as silent as wind. Keep it quick. There's a lot to be done before we relieve Kazda of his riches. The lowest. Kazda clawed his way to the top of the stitches with treachery and fear. The stitches hasn't known law, but under Dashing the Salzo, it knew relative peace, common purpose. Now it falls into anarchy. Kazda won't stop it, he creates it. The leader of the stitches, before Kazda, he's dead and gone. All you need to know is, what was his is now Kazda's, soon to be ours. A den of outlaws in the shape of a town. There's not much to tell. What do you want to know? The facade of a legitimate business for Jubani Defense. Her gang loots and scavenges items all over the scar. She has a Bandari's knack for selling junk for far more than it's worth. What passes for a tavern in the Stitches. The Averno twins run a money-lending and pawn operation out of it. Don't let them sweet-talk you into any favors. They may seem harmless, but everything has a price with those two, and everyone pays. The sewer beneath Merville Keep. We'll be able to gather there without attracting any unwanted attention, and it'll become clear why once you arrive. Thoroughness is an uncommon virtue in the Stitches. Go on and ask.
Get these ropes off of me. Jubani and I had a deal. I delivered.
True, but why keep paying when we can just make you do it for free? Now get inside.
Hope you brought your purse. You don't want to know how Jubani deals with browsers. Keep your nose clean around Jubani's. She doesn't like snoops.
Hey, you're not one of Jubani's thugs. Can you get me out of here? I'm getting out of here. Catch up to me so I can thank you properly. Thanks for your help back there. Jubani and her thugs are a bunch of hammers that think everything is a nail. Geniuses included. Altruism isn't a thing in the Stitches. So what do you want? Need a lock picked? Something repaired? Tasnasi, huh? That's funny. Was just thinking about her recently, seeing what's gone on around this dump. How it's gotten, dumpier than usual. But she's pulling together a job. I swore that Kazda ran her out of town when he took over. Last time I ran my mouth, Jubani sent her unexpectedly handsome thugs after me. I'm not spilling any more secrets. But it's nice to know Tasnasi's still around. She really loves this place after all. Even after everything that's happened to her. Well, Jubani's sure to notice I'm missing. Joining up with a crew seems like a good way to keep my fingers unbroken. So sure, whatever Tasnasi's playing at, I'm in. The bowel. Well, that's ironic. I'll head there after I get my tools and find another pair of small clothes. Jubani runs the biggest salvage operation in the Stitches, and she knows she gets paid more if a salvage is in pure junk. When a crew found stuff that wasn't busted up, I fixed it. For pay. 'Cause that happened. He took over the Stitches and didn't care if people broke oaths, contracts, or ribs. Jubani saw a chance to get more labour for free. Just had to flex a little muscle. Don't let my rippling physique fool you. I'm, not much in a fight. Well, most don't. And to be fair, I wasn't always the brilliant tinkerer I am today. I don't know what caused the change, honestly. I think eating that soul gem had something to do with it. Well, I didn't just pluck one up and eat it. I was scouting for the Dominion way north. Some ruin called Sardathal. Was running from some guards when I fell into a shaft. And fell. And fell. It was a long fall. Caught a ledge at the last minute. Broke my fall. And my fingers. Real mess. Anyway, I found myself in this strange cavern. Huge. Had dwarven ruins, biggest I've ever seen inside of it. More stone and metal than I could imagine. Not so much food. Not quite. I finally managed to find a charis. A big bug. Tastes awful, don't recommend it, but I ate like my life depended on it. I mean, it did. I half remember a glowing stone going in my mouth. Swallowed it whole before I even realised. More like indigestion, but also this indescribable urge to fiddle with the ruins. Well, I guess I'd call it curiosity. But anyway, I fixed an elevator like it was second nature and got back home. Then I got discharged on account of my weekend. That Kazda ran her out of town? Or tried to, I guess. It's not any secret. It may be a rancid pile of cat vomit, but this is his town now. He does what he wants. Bad blood. Truth told, Tasnasi would have been charged after dashing to Salzo died, if things hadn't gone down the way they did. It's not my place to say anything more than that.
What in the moons? Ah, my fur! What was in this bucket? Whatever your death wish is, it's granted! Oh, my head. Just tell me what you're doing here before I turn your heart into a tomato. Oh, really? Tasnasi still kicking around? A little good news to go around with all this bad. Like a fly in wine. Be careful of the wine, by the way. There's flies in it. I didn't say that. Well, what I mean is that I'd like to, but if Tasnasi wants me for my magical skill, I have some bad news. My focus is gone. I mean my other focus. My arcane focus. A bubble to focus magica. I'm useless without it. I may have planned it. To Lulius and Skippy never know. I'd give the gold back, but Kazda's really gouging the price of a bottle these days. Even the swill in this flop house. The Avernos are inside. Get my focus back, and I'll owe you. Ugh, well, sometimes my power gets a little out of control. The Mages Guild was supposed to help me master it, but they take a dim view of people breaking curfew and getting drunk on kitchen duty, and throwing up in the soup. When I need to cast a spell, I channel my magicka through the focus. It helps me weave everything together. Without it, my spells come out like tangled yarn, and the results are, well, unpredictable. Lulius and Skifion, they sit in the goitered gulps like they own the place. Well, they do technically own it, but that's not the point. Ever since Kazda took over, the twins have doubled everyone's rent and the amount of water in the drinks. Because Kazda gets a nice kickback from all the money they bring in. And for good or ill, well, actually just ill. Kazda's in charge here, so he has the muscle. So the rest of us sit quietly and pay twice as much to get half as drunk.
New face in the stitches, then? I love new faces. I can front you a little money in exchange for... well, we can talk terms over wine. To what do my brother and I owe the pleasure? Focus. Looked like a collar to me. Pity it doesn't fit any of our pants. Don't call it such around Serene. Nearly clawed poor Skipion's nose off over it. It's such a good nose, too. Reminds me of Mother. Anyway, price is set. Will you pay it?
I am positively fuming. Julius has our entire wardrobe shipped here from Kvatch, and he still manages to pick out the exact same outfit I'm wearing. As if it weren't clear enough we're twins. But you're not here to listen to a sibling's prattle. That rancid-smelling thing? I can't believe my brother paid mostly honest gold for it. Probably cursed. He should just be rid of it and be done with the whole torrid affair. Speaking of torrid affairs, well, perhaps later. Well, you do seem to look like someone well-equipped to deal with this sort of thing. Julius owes me a favor, so I'll call it in for you. The trinket is yours. You can find it in a jewelry box behind the counter. Oh, don't feel the need to rush out so soon. I rarely have the chance to make new acquaintances. Especially with Julius breathing down my neck day and night. Not that I always mind it. Stave off boredom, for a start. Egging a few vagrants to fight for a limp purse is the closest thing one gets to the Colosseum around here. Though it is fun watching Brother Dearest try to squeeze more gold from this toad of a town. You mean you don't know? Oh, my brother and I will need to keep our eyes on you, amongst other things. We're entrepreneurs. We lend money, rent land, arrange deals, for increasingly immodest percentages.
Going to bring the little mage back her bauble, then? May as well chuck it in the canyon. At least that way it won't be covered in regurgitated fur. The Goiter's Gulp? The only thing vaguely resembling a tavern from here to Riverhold. My dear brother and I are the new management. You would think the 6th-generation owners would be smarter than to use this place as collateral, but here we are. I know, but this dump is the only thing he could cough up for the loan. Still, dear brother and I managed to keep the business alive. It's a labor of love, I assure you. The love of money, I mean.
Blah, can't get the taste out of my mouth. It's awful. Good, Kazda's made the stitches unpalatable, like that swill he's got the tavern pouring. I'm ready to get out, but I wouldn't mind batting Kazda's tail along the way. I'm sure Tasnasi feels the same. I need a moment or two. Look, I'll meet you at the bowl once the world stops spinning. Just a mage looking for something at the bottom of a bottle. I don't really know, and if I'm being honest, I don't know if I ever knew. Look, you seem halfway decent, so don't stick your muzzle too far in, alright? Tasnasi's got her own business, and I know too much about it already. I don't drink just because I like the flavor of the tavern's bilge. I'm hazy on the details. To be honest, I'm hazy on a lot of things these days. But I know Tasnasi can't show her face in the stitches. And it's not just Kazda that'd like to see her dead. You've seen the type of people who call the stitches home. Thieves, smugglers, deserters. Nobody keen on laws. Of the few rules we have, she broke the one you don't break. Murder. I've said more than I should have already. It's in the past. Tasnasi had her reasons. She always has her reasons. Not that I ever got to hear them. She's not going to stab you in the back if that's what's worrying you. Keep your mind on the job.
A beautiful day for a stroll in the sky, huh? As long as a dragon doesn't swoop out of the sky and eat you, that would certainly ruin an otherwise nice excursion.
Said Nalitha the avuncular, even in somber times must the wayfarer be offered greetings. Nazdar greets you, wayfarer, though his times are somber indeed. What brings you to this one? Hotaza the corpulent often said, the forgetting of friends is a grievous wrong. Wise words. Tasnasi has not visited him in some time, but this one has not forgotten her, so believe Nazdar when he regretfully declines her invitation. This one has lost a prized possession, a lute gifted by a dear, departed friend. It has buoyed Nazdar's soul for so long, he sinks without it. Weighed down as such, he cannot be the fleet walker Tasnasi needs him to be. Truly? This one was practicing his lute in the canyon below, but his playing attracted irascible beasts. He was forced to leave it behind as he scrambled up the cliffs. The truth, however, noxious is sweeter than rose blossom, to quote the venerable Bait. Nazdar plays, but not well. The others throw things at him when he practices, so he plays where he can be alone. A saint. He once led the Stitches, not to glory perhaps, but away from shame. Even saints do not live forever, nor did he. But as Ballant the Canonical said, the dead recalled in good memories are the true saints of our lives. As Zubacha the hermit said to Intasi after returning from his grand pilgrimage, "Hello, this one is cheered to see you without the blemishes of harm." As often said by Polu the overstating, this is worthy of celebration. You have done this one a great turn. In the dark days the Stitches find themselves in, it is good to hold a memory of brighter times. Your kindness reminds Nazdar of the love dashing Dasalzo had for the Stitches in life. This one recalls many joys in the company of Tasnasi and the others. He would like to feel them again. Nazdar will go where Tasnasi bids. A life of decades cannot be reckoned in minutes, so the blind poet has taught us. But Nazdar will do his best. The Stitches was once like it is today, a refuse pit of the spirit, home of vice, self-interest, and the vain depravities of life. Dasalzo came to the gangs of the Stitches and showed them a common foe, Euraxia's armies. We harried them, stole from them, bled them dry, and we formed bonds. To quote Aidino the Aphoric, the greatest gift the indolent can receive is purpose. His death did not rip those bonds apart, but without Dasalzo's care in keeping them tight-knit, they are unraveling nonetheless, and Kazda is pulling at the threads. But some, like Nazdar, keep the Salzo's memory and his hope. Nazdar knows you see more ribs than muscles on him. This is true, but he once was a brother of the Whispering Claw, so dedicated to that life he was, that he took a vow of silence. You have read the works of Vekla the Ephemeral. Nazdar is glad to know a fellow student. Yes, Nazdar was silent for 19 years, but one night in moonlight he heard through his cell a song, a simple tune but captivating. Some peasant tune hummed by a swineherd going home, but a Jarasti moonsinger said, "Beauty is not in the art, but in what it instills." In that moment, Nazdar knew he must sing, so he broke his vow and left the adeptorium to make music. You can make art for others, said Erka of the Bard College, or for yourself. Nazdar knows he is not good enough to make art for others, but Dashing the Salzo always encouraged Nazdar to make art for himself. Nazdar will never forget that.
That's everyone. Tasnasi must speak with you.
To see Tasnasi, serene and Vol once more warms me from ear to tail. The joy of friendship is best known by the heart in a reunion. So the fifth song of the Palatine verses goes.
Haven't seen the old crew in a while. Nazdar's looking spry as ever and serene still. Smells like a distillery.
Hooray! Everybody's here! Could we maybe keep the reunion to a whisper? This cave echoes and my head is killing me.
Tasnasi has not seen her old crew in some time. Not since... Never mind. You were not followed, yes? Tasnasi is not welcome in the Stitches. Associates of Tasnasi, also not welcome. Kazda was lieutenant to Dashing the Salzo. Tasnasi as well, until he was found with her knife in his back. No one cared if she was innocent. They wanted someone to blame, and Kazda gave them an answer. After everything, they turned their backs on her. It's not. No, you're right. Tasnasi says she hates this place. She should hate this place. But the Stitches is her home, her family. Tasnasi won't sit idle while Kazda destroys it. Her reasons aren't important. We should discuss the plan. Today, we hit Kazda right under his nose. We'll break into the basement of the Mirville Keep through this sewer, so long as Vol can pick the locks.
Ah, locks. Cute. Might as well be fancifully knotted ribbons to me.
Good. At the courtyard, we'll have sentries, but Serene's teleportation spell should let us pass unnoticed.
Were you talking to me?
We'll enter the palace through a second-floor storage room. Nazdar will scale the wall and drop a rope for us.
As spake Urwa the Observant. I see.
Tasnasi and the newcomer will handle any trouble that comes our way. Let's get started.
To know the road you walk is a joy was recorded as the last words of Ofin Dentro. Our road is now known to us. It will be a joy to walk it. We need a way into the tower once we've crossed the courtyard. Nazdar will scale it and gain access. Years may befall the river, yet it still flows. The red cone is clear. You see a frail old cat, but Nazdar is a proud practitioner of the Whispering Claw. You will see.
As dumb as Kazda is, he never did skimp on security. Those locks he has in his dungeons are dwarven make. No one gets through those. Unless you're me, of course. The Bowel is part of the keep's old cistern. You can get up to its dungeons from here. The Salzo never used them, and neither does Kazda. Place is a dump. But Kazda's paranoid about his treasure. Had the doors fitted with dwarven locks. Yep, some scavenged dwarven artifacts cobbled together to make a lock that most saps couldn't crack. Kazda probably bought them off Jewbonny, and Jewbonny probably had them built by a particularly handsome and talented bossmer. That's me, by the way. Right. Well, we don't know what may have moved into the dungeons after Kazda stopped paying attention, so I'll be counting on you to watch my back.
Teleporting. I should have eaten breakfast today, instead of drinking it. Tasnasi's route involves us crossing the courtyard. The safest way to cross it without being seen? Don't cross it. So I'm going to teleport us, which is something I can absolutely do. It's hard to do even when you're not hungover, even if you've had a complete education from the Mages Guild. I mean, I've done it before, couple of times, and it largely worked out fine. So let's give me the benefit of the doubt. Oh, why didn't I think of that? I'll just wave my tail and have us there in time for tea. I have to see where I'm going. If I was just guessing, well, I don't guess anymore, so there.
You have any questions for Tasnasi? Otherwise, we go. Yes, Tasnasi knows Mervale Keep, where Kazda rules. It has 3 main sections: the dungeon, the courtyard, and the palace. The vaults are inside the palace, but the main entrance is too well guarded. We must take a more circuitous route. Through a small storage room in the south tower. Its window is broken, and it's rarely guarded. We reach the south tower by crossing the courtyard, and we reach the courtyard by coming up through the dungeons. Smelly, but unobserved. Tasnasi counts on you to be a guard, a lookout, and whatever else is needed as we work. She has done enough jobs to know that things will come up that can't be anticipated, so it is good to have an extra pair of paws just in case. Was there someone in particular you had questions about? He's our ticket from the dungeon to the courtyard. Tasnasi knows that Kazda doesn't keep his dungeons guarded. He had some special dwarven locks put in. They'd keep most people out, but Vol can crack them. Once we clear the dungeons, we're in the courtyard. We need to cross it without being seen. Risky with the size of our crew, but Serene, with enough preparation, can teleport us across the grounds with no one the wiser. After we've crossed the courtyard, we must infiltrate the second level of the palace. A sheer climb into enemy territory, but the masters of the Whispering Claw can glide on the wind like a whisper. The rest of us will use the rope he carries. Now is the time to...